The Olympics are sold to us as the one place on Earth where flags, wars, elections, and ideologies are supposed to fade into the background, where the only thing that matters is who's faster, stronger, or more precise. But that idea has always been more fragile than we admit. Yet the problem we keep having at the Olympics isn't that politics suddenly showed up. It's that the games are so big, so symbolic, and so global that politics inevitably shows up, and the IOC has to keep improvising rules to contain it without looking hypocritical. You can see that tension clearly in how the International Olympic Committee polices athlete expression. On paper, there's a strict neutral field of play principle. No political demonstrations during competition, ceremonies, or in Olympic venues. In reality, athletes are human beings living inside the same global crises as everyone else, and the line between political message and human message gets messy fast. A very recent example, Ukrainian skeleton racer Vladislav Hrushevich said he would compete wearing a helmet honoring athletes killed in the war, after the IOC said it violated the neutrality rule and offered a compromise, like a black armband. Ukraine's leaders, including Volodymyr Zelensky, publicly backed the athlete. So now it's not just an equipment issue, it's a global headline about dignity, memory, and who gets to define politics. That's one bad thing people feel in their gut. The Olympics can look inconsistent. The IOC wants to protect athletes from turning podiums into partisan battlegrounds, but the world is watching and asking, neutral for who? Neutrality can feel like silence in the face of suffering, and silence is never interpreted as neutral by everyone. And the more the Olympics try to shut down expression completely, the more they risk turning the games into a pressure cooker where every tiny gesture becomes a bigger protest than it would have been otherwise. Another political flashpoint is sanctions and participation rules. After Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the IOC pushed a framework where athletes from Russia and Belarus could be allowed in some contexts as neutral individuals under conditions. No flag, no anthem, and restrictions tied to the war. That approach is meant to avoid punishing athletes for government decisions while still applying consequences to states. But it also guarantees controversy. Some people see any participation as moral failure, others see exclusion as collective punishment. Either way, geopolitical conflict becomes part of the broadcast. Then you've got modern culture war politics landing inside eligibility debates. Boxing at Paris 2024 became a lightning rod because different governing bodies and commentators fueled public arguments about sex, gender eligibility, including intense attention on Iman Khalif and Lin Yuting. The key point for your audience is this. Once eligibility becomes a political proxy fight, athletes get turned into symbols and targets, and social media turns complicated policy questions into team sports, where misinformation spreads faster than any official clarification. So yes, politics is a real problem at the Olympics. But here's the other side. The Olympics are also producing some of the purest good things we still have in global culture. In the middle of all this noise, athletes keep doing the impossible. Paris 2024 delivered record-breaking performances that reminded everyone why the games still matter. Léon Marchand became one of the defining stars of those games, winning 4 individual gold medals and setting Olympic records across multiple events. An absurd level of dominance in swimming, where fractions of a second are the difference between legend and anonymity. And across the broader program, multiple world and Olympic records fell. Some in sports where technology, training science, and depth of competition have pushed humans into a new era. And it wasn't just the usual superpowers. One of the healthiest signs for the Olympic movement is when new countries break through. The official Olympic wrap-up highlighted first-ever gold medals for several national Olympic committees at Paris 2024, moments that can reshape sport in those countries for a generation, because funding, attention, and belief all change overnight. That's what the Olympics still do at their best. They create shared global stories that are bigger than one person or one country. They inspire kids to start a sport. They push public investment into facilities. They make a small federation suddenly matter. They turn athletes into proof that discipline can beat destiny. So where does that leave us with the good and bad in one honest frame? The bad is that the Olympics are now too big to stay clean. The Games are a geopolitical stage, a corporate product, a moral symbol, and a competition at the same time. That combination creates constant conflicts. Athletes want to speak about real life. The IOC wants order. Countries want prestige. Fans want fairness. Sponsors want safety. Activists want visibility. Broadcasters want drama. Athletes want to be treated like humans, not content. You also get governance headaches, judging controversies, rule changes that feel random, inconsistent enforcement, and governing body wars in certain sports that spill into the Olympic brand. The Olympics are trying to be both a moral institution and a logistics machine, and sometimes it fails at both. The good is that despite all of that, the core product still works. Put the best athletes on Earth in one place, and human excellence breaks through the noise. Records fall, careers are made in seconds, legends show up under pressure, and the world, at least for a couple of weeks, shares a common scoreboard. If you want to make this topic hit on YouTube, the angle is simple. The Olympics are no longer just sport. They're a mirror of the world. And the argument isn't keep politics out versus let politics in. The real argument is, how do we protect the competition while admitting that athletes don't stop being citizens, survivors, or symbols when they walk into a stadium? Because the future Olympics will only get more political, not less. The only question is whether the IOC builds clearer, fairer rules and communicates them honestly, or keeps reacting case by case until neutrality looks like a brand strategy instead of a principle.